16 in the summertime when you saw me like a movie scene. We were crazy like a teenage crime. You picked me up and you'd had 69 every night we snuck out. So I've been waiting by your house every night we snuck out. Till the sun will rise for the last time. Stay by your side. For you I stay by your side. Would you stay by my side? For you I stay by your side. Thought I could leave you, stay by my side. It's now or never. Bonnie and Clyde create a story for a different time, for the memories in which we started night. Stay by your side.
Counter-terrorists win.
Loot Bet. Made for live betting.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Second best of 3 about to get underway. forZe versus Izako Boars. We found out the maps Inferno, Nuke, and Train, I believe. So a couple of interesting maps to come, and especially with forZe's recent performances. I know there's a 16-0 in there in the past couple, which we're not going to comment on, but either way, let's get this second best of 3 right underway.
Yes, we shall. It is going to be, of course, an elimination match, and this is where the real emotions will be going. This is more so where the real emotions will be had, because both of these two teams, it's safe to say that they've had a very rough road towards where they are today, or more so where they are right now. Obviously, you know, for forZe, I have to say I was kind of disappointed as to how they played within the, you know, in the past few, I guess you could say within the past few best of 3s as a whole. They really looked very promising at the start of this tournament. Or excuse me, well, I guess before the start of this tournament, as they lost against Sharks 2-0, and then it was Ancient. They lost against 2-0 as well. Now they are on the road back to victory. At least they've won their game against French Frogs, was it? I think it was French Frogs. Yeah, they won against French Frogs. So that was the only best of 3 they were able to pick up, and they've started their journey back to a 3-2 result, potentially picking up, you know, the 3 best of 3s in a row, going into the playoffs themselves. But Izako Boars, they're going to be a tough opponent here, and I have to admit, Izako Boars, they're the team that surprised me the most by how well they were able to play. In the end, they are still, you know, or more so, they lost the majority of their best of 3 still. But the performance of Izako Boars felt like it's a lot better than that of forZe.
Yeah, they look pretty solid, especially with the victory that they were able to get against Windstrike. I'm pretty sure it was a solid 2-0 out of them. So yeah, it's going to be one of the more interesting series, to say the least, considering both teams' recent performances. Obviously taking 2 losses in their best of 3s, I think one of which was against Ancient for forZe as well in there. So obviously a side that has now currently progressed to that playoff position. But obviously as we get into the pistol round, at least it is going to be FaZe Crack and Co. forZe starting on the CT side. Izako Boars taking T. And with this being the map pick of forZe, we should expect them to be starting pretty well, although with obviously the map being not as close as some. 29% win rate for Izako Boars. It's one of those that'll be a challenge, but definitely doable. But even so, CT side to kick us underway as FaceCrack playing close toward top banana. A minute 20 on the clock for him, and as he spots the initial man at least, getting some info for his side, will rotate 3 men toward this B bomb site. A beautiful flash to allow the peek. Nothing to come of it so far, and a pretty slow pistol round to kick us off here.
Yeah, I like how FaceCrack was wiggling around the corner, trying to find out, trying to snuff out any sort of information he could. But it is going to be Izako Boars still committing towards B in the end. Patitek first man to go in. It's going to be a bit of a tag down on him as he drops down to 72. But right now, look at this. It's actually Izako Boars running back towards A, and Patitek finds himself one. And that's going to be 2 players left on B to defend, or more so to rotate over. Zapar and Jerry find 2 kills themselves. That's a great stopping point here for forZe. They're at least by themselves enough time to get rotation over. Flit is already out of library, but it's a 2-on-3, and they have a chance to win this. Almazer has the kit, and time is still on the side of forZe for the moment. Flit will not waste any time, though. He's pushing straight to site, and Almazer will join him. Flit, nice headshot. Navrot will fall. Oh, but next, he's holding the line, and Patitek, well, of course, Patitek, he will be able to hold it all together. Izako Boars winning the pistol, and they're securing themselves the starting point of this first map. As you said, though, it is true that the statistics do not exactly favor Izako Boars. They are actually pretty low on that part, or more so pretty bad on that part, at 29% overall. That's kind of concerning, really, if you think about it. But, you know, the saving grace there is that the one map they won in the best of 3 they lost against SJ was Inferno, and it was 16-14.
So yeah, they've definitely proven that they can play this map very, very closely, to say the least. But yeah, there's definitely a potential in here that we do see forZe being able to be shut down by Izako Boars, and that'd be nice to see. Obviously, with these guys coming in as one of their first tournaments back after a long online session of prac and qualifiers. Yeah. So yeah, Izako Boars, second round in, going to be hitting toward the B bomb site pretty successfully as well. Navrot and Techcheck finding 2 kills between them. That'll be a 5 versus 3 that should already force at least the Kevlar and Flit to go for that save. They don't want to be taking or losing that. It's probably nothing they want to give up. FaceCrack the same as well. So, yeah, pretty simple second round for Izako Boars. Most likely a third as well, considering that the CT side have gone for that full buy. But so far, starting pretty well on Inferno. And with the way that Izako Boars have been able to play some of their most recent matches,
yeah,
they've actually like a pretty solid side. Yes, they've won 2. Yes, they've lost 2 best of 3s. One of them being a 2-0 against Ancient, that 2-1 against SJ. But the way they were able to defeat Windstrike, 16-7 on Vertigo, 16-5 on Nuke, which is the second map of this series, that's going to be a very interesting couple of games that we might even see sway in the favor of Izako Boars, which is pretty terrifying considering that we've not seen them in a long time, but yet they're being able to come out this explosively.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Izako Boars, just if we look at the past for them, specifically for IB, you know, it was a bit of a different lineup about, you know, half a year or a little bit more ago. But overall, they had a rough, turmoilless time that they were playing in and more so performing in, and they never really achieved any great success. But I have to say, the new Izako Boars we're seeing right here, as you said, after a period of, you know, practicing, after not exactly showing themselves on too many online tournaments, etc., and obviously after acquiring Patitek and Techcheck, well, I think these two, you know, had been a great addition to Izako Boars as a whole, and I'm absolutely down to see how it all might work out for them. FaceCrack pushes second mid, will be able to catch Maddie B. Or Maddie Bob, I guess, Maddie. I'm actually not sure if it's Maddie Bob or Maddie B or is it just Maddie, but I guess we could say Maddie.
I think he changed it. I think it's just Maddie, yeah.
Ah, it's just Maddie. Okay, fair.
Yeah,
I remember it was Maddie B, right?
Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it's kind of confusing at times. But Izako Boars, as you said, their explosive mannerism, more so their explosive quality and their overall quality of play has been improving. It really has given us hope to see them potentially in the playoffs, potentially in some bigger tournaments to come yet. But I guess, you know, they have to start somewhere, and this is as good as any of a start for them at the UCC Summer Smash.
Yeah, and especially with the fact that taking that 3-0, going to stabilize them early in this first map, at least. Obviously, with forZe bringing the gun round into the next, that will decide whether Izako Boars can stay afloat early, or whether we see forZe back into their supposed form. Anyway, they've had a couple of losses since we last saw them in the best of 3 in this tournament. Anyway, they've taken some MDL losses, a 16-11 to Valiant, a 16-13 to Gamer Legion, and a really unfortunate 16-0 to Spirit, which it must have been a bad day, because Almazer was on 2 frags, Jerry on 3, FaZe on 4. So that was, you know, not great to say the least, but even so, hopefully we do see these guys resurge. But yeah, first gun round to come, and this is going to be forZe onto the AWP. Zaypower taking that one, 4 AUGs to surround them. Izako Boars building a little bit of bank early. Winning this round would definitely assert that, but forZe, as they bring out their guns, that's the one thing we can always guarantee. When they do have their rifles, when they are playing at decent form, it's always going to be rifle rounds that do save them. They can fall to some messy ecos, but overall, they are a pretty solid side on the rifle rounds themselves.
To say the very least. Zaypower, though, that's the scary weapon he has in his hands, and that's the weapon that might change the outcome of the round. And, you know, to be honest, Zaypower, when he's performing, forZe are usually doing good. When he's not performing, forZe are having a lot of trouble. And we've seen that in the past. forZe specifically against Sharks, he was like at 0-7, 0-8, wasn't he, Zaypower?
I'm pretty sure he hit 0-14, right?
0-14, yeah, that was a double James Bond. And that's where I was really just, you know, losing my mind as to what's going on. forZe, what are you doing? How is this possible? So I'm happy to see him, almost I'm happy to see forZe perform well always. But again, they kind of rely on a few of their players, specifically Zaypower, to be able to hit those up shots. Although this round ends up quite easily. Almazer gets 2, Jerry gets 3. And it's a quick cleanup overall. Izako Boars will be reinvesting, obviously. Next picks up the AWP. And we've got the rest kind of just, you know, with full utility and AKs. But as we were saying, forZe, they were prone in the past to be defeated in a way that you'd never imagine be possible, or at least you never imagined that something like that could even happen. So I'm happy to see them open up with a single round, at least if nothing else, on the first gun round. That really will give them quite a little bit of bank to fall on to. Even if they can't buy the next, they still have about, you know, 1 to 2k saved up, arguably. And ooh, Jerry. Okay, he's gonna fall back. I thought he might actually push forward. Oh, but he catch himself Almazer. That's a problem. That shouldn't be happening. forZe should have been a bit more careful. But just to finish the point, basically, forZe, if they're able to keep this CT side well composed and competitive, let's say if they closed out the half 9-6 in their favor, we could see this going the long distance, and certainly we could see this map easily going their way. But he's a Boars. Oh my. Oh my.
Not so good this time. Luckily, FaZe able to trade back and make it into a 4v3, but still with the man advantage. This is going to be Izako Boars now heading down toward the A bomb site through apartments, and with FaZe going to commit toward arches, or at least back off towards CT, they open up the entire of the A bomb site. Not even too sure why he's rotated off right now, for the fact that he's the only man toward the A site. And what makes it worse is that Navrot throws out toward the utility. That essentially confirms in the minds of forZe that it is going to be that B-bomb site. And as soon as that plank goes down, yeah, they should be pulling away for a save. Although FaZe trying to make his way onto site. Smoke to go down, 13 seconds. Well, 10 seconds as that bomb is going to be planted. But there we go. That does fall. Well, force the save in the hands of forZe. Will keep them 3 rifles alive. They can invest into the next round. But it does mean that Izako Boars, even after losing their opening gun round against forZe, it does mean that they're back in winning ways again. A 4-1, potentially even 5, depending if forZe, well, they will go for the reinvestment, but it depends how they can take them down. But even so, solid start from Izako Boars so far on this T side.
Yeah, very solid start, very solid opening. As Izako Boars, I mean, it's hard to perform Inferno T side. It's never been easy in the past, never will be easy in the future. And if you're able to grab yourself the early start as they are right now with, you know, 5-6 rounds lead, you are doing wonders for yourself. And that's exactly what's happening here for Izako Boars. They are opening it up very nicely. They're getting themselves onto a point, or more so onto a result from which they don't need to worry perhaps for the ending of the first half anymore. If they close out, or more so, if they find themselves, let's say 6-7 rounds already before forZe even starts to really play and really get the game going, one could argue that that's certainly the best case scenario that could happen here for Izako Boars. And once more, we see that it's going to be a bit of a banana control exerted, although forZe do not commit to it. And I kind of like this. You know, they know their utility is key to victory. They can't allow themselves to be caught off too early or too quickly on and off. And I can't blame them for that. Obviously, they need to be careful about how they play their aggression, specifically with the fact that their money is already lacking a little bit here and there. So, you know, forZe, if they play safe and they win the round because of it, kudos to them. If they play safe and lose it, well, you know, maybe it's time to switch it out a little bit. But at least let's see how this defense fares on B. It's going to be a bit of a fake out for the by the looks of it for the first few seconds. Izako Boars just throwing a few smokes and molotovs. forZe, I love the fact they're not responding to this. They're completely, utterly still, and they're not really committing to anything yet. No rotations, no nothing. Although, I'm kind of concerned about the fact they have nobody in CT long, at least. Somebody should be close to the rotation for B.
Yeah, especially with the fact that 40 seconds on the clock, as soon as that smoke goes down from forZe, are at least going to keep the CTs at bay. And we do now see Zaypower lingering towards Archers. But like you said, he's going to still be a pretty lengthy rotate if he wants to go for it. And with 30 seconds left down toward Banana, again, another smoke to at least make sure the gap is closed off. And with 25 to go, as that first smoke ticks, it's almost that finds the initial frag. Techek, he'll be shut down first, and whilst that bomb recollected, Jerry in the flashbang. Patatech to trade, but Alma's there to shut down too. Back into a 3 versus 2 as Navrot to deny him. Time is ticking though. Might just be able to get the bomb plant though, and that will at least force out a retake in the hands of forZe. Navrot and the Neeks to be able to play. Flit to find the first though. And as they know where that second man is, burning in at the molly. A nice little retake by forZe as they close their second round, and with that bomb going down, they will get some money on the T side. We'll be seeing a purchase from them again. But forZe, if they can win consecutive rounds, there is a world where they can tie it up at 4-4, and that'd be a good start for the CT side. Like you said, if Izako Boars start making a lot of rounds, even 6, 7, 8, that's going to be a real tough sort of cookie to crack for forZe, and that'd be hard on their first map, considering that this is their map pick as well. But a rebuy out from that T side, even a Mac 10 on Techek, so you can see they're weak already. And forZe definitely looking to exploit that. Jerry quickly down toward Banana. Neeks fully blind, not going to spot too much info in return. I don't think either player saw each other in that sort of position. It was just a lucky shot, or at least a lucky endeavor. Alma's there. Nice shot onto Neeks, so double AWP already making impact. And that's a quick 5v4 here.
Yeah, it turns everything on its head once more, as we will be having Almazer for the second as well. Navrot tries to jiggle peek, tries to shoulder peek, gonna be caught in his attempt, and that's perfect. forZe, as you said, if they're able to tie it here, if they're able to take the lead even, then definitely we have a true game on our hands. In any case, it again will look to be a bit of a slowdown coming out from Izako Boars. A 3-on-5, obviously no easy task to fight in, to achieve victory in, but it is a chance here to them, at least if nothing else, to still keep it open for business. And well, that's it. He's going to catch himself Zaypower. That's long control lost. Oh, it might be a wraparound towards B. I kind of like this, actually. It's not that bad of an idea. Because if they are able to catch perhaps the player in Ruins, that would be Jerry, they can isolate Almazer. And that's going to cause a lot of issues for, of course, for forZe.
Yeah, and especially with the fact that there is such a simple path, or at least entrance to this B site if they were to do it. Although they're going to wrap their way back around through Archers. Head toward the A site, and Patatech, he'll be closed down by FaceCrack. That makes life incredibly difficult now. Have to dedicate toward the bomb plant. And a simple tap for Flit. FaceCrack to close out, and a 4-3 that will now see Izako Boars down into an eco. Maybe even, okay, not going to be a force buy. They can buy in the next, although not going to be as strengthy as they would like. So this time, T-side looking like they're going to take a little bit of attack pause, but forZe are doing well to make sure Izako Boars are not running away with these types of rounds. There should be a chance for them to now tie the scoreline, make sure that CT side is staying competitive, staying close, and I think forZe have to in this first map, because obviously we've seen that Izako Boars, they can take victories on Nuke as well. Obviously, they can win Inferno. We saw a 16-14 most recently. But on Nuke, they took a victory 16-6 or 5 or 7, something like that. Very simple against Winstrike, a team that, again, sort of bill themselves as a decent Nuke side. So if they can do that, there's definitely possibilities that this series goes all the way. If not, if they win the first map. But still, as we go back into the eco, yeah, Izako Boars going to take an eco, not going to go for a force.
Yeah.
And force, this should be the time for them to tie things up.
Certainly, it should be the time to tie it up. I mean, they have they had ample opportunity, and they certainly used it in their favor. And by the looks of it, that's going to be exactly the case right here, right now. Although, I'm not particularly fond of the double up. Although it is Inferno, and it is not a bad decision to play it. I would trust the op to Zapar and just let Elmazer play with a rifle, because it will complicate matters going into the gun round, especially if they do lose that op, or if they lose a rifle and they're forced to go for a retake, if it's going to be that kind of scenario. Of course, this is an eco. Izako Boars do not stand the chance, and, you know, as they should not, as we all know, it ends easily here for forZe. 4-4, and the real challenge now begins. The Polar squad do have another full buy next. Yeah, he's going to go for the AK, obviously. 5 AKs across the board. Limited utility on... okay, no, he's going to buy it up. I was like, well, is he going to buy it? Maybe he's going to save $1,000. Why not? You know, it's not that bad of an idea. If he thinks to rush towards a site, he doesn't want to go in fully handed and then lose all the utility for nothing. But alas, ooh, Jerry. Deep banana control being established, or at least trying to. Navrot will punish it, though, and Jerry. That will lose the entry for forZe. And that's going to complicate matters more and more now. The double up, this is what I was talking about. The double up might be good, but not if it comes down to a retake.
Yeah, and as soon as they're disadvantaged, to be able to try and play with 2 snipers and 2 rifles is making life a little more difficult for them. forZe, as they set up 2-on-2, looks like Izako Boars will be wanting to head toward the A site, getting their smokes, their utility ready, especially with that early entry. They can slow down and play their own style. But even so, FaZe Crack to sit close, Zay Power to back him up from the left-hand side as well, as Navrot burning down to 31. Some decent damage to be given. Zay Power getting aggro. Will be able to find a first. Tags a second as well, but that's all he'll get. But FaZe Crack, he'll be able to swing in, take out 2. That gives the advantage now to forZe. And his armor's there shutting down Patatech. That will just leave Neeks in a 1 versus 2. And as he squanders himself an AWP, that should all... or should be all he's realistically getting, and it is a 5-4 forZe. They keep that double up setup as well. T-side down to an eco now, and this is the chance for forZe to start taking the lead. A decent gun round denial out of them, resulting in a Izako Boars eco, and a chance for them to put 6 on the board.
Absolutely. A chance given and a chance taken. And, well, Izako Boars, they're certainly going to have to wake the hell up now. There is not much room for error like that, or for making mistakes like that. Now, as I said already, the lucky break for Izako Boars is the fact they've already got 4 rounds, which is in itself a small achievement of its own. It's no easy task to achieve 5-6 rounds on Inferno T side, especially if you're having a hard time breaking any sort of defense once the CTs are established and have the economy for it. Well, we do see that pistols and Kevlar will be utilized, and it's going to be an A play. They're going to be jumping out of balcony, and I like that. Ooh, sneaker through by Techek. He's going to get into CT. That's going to force forZe to relocate, although for the better for them, actually. With the 3rd player being put back to site, this is an easy shutdown. Flit blinded out. He still gets 2 kills. Sprays down the 3rd on short, and the round is going to end equally so. So, like I said, it's actually for the better here for forZe that they rotated off to site from long, because it gives them a better defense, or more so a better crossfire to work with, especially with the fact that the guy on long was the one connecting element for Izako Boars that could have wrapped it all together. If he had gotten the kill on long, it would have left the 2 guys on site completely open for business, and then it could have played out in any kind of fashion that we can imagine.
Yeah, and especially like you said, with the round going into forZe when it definitely could have dipped a little bit. Some weapons to be dropped. They keep all 5 players alive. A pretty successful round out of them. Flit, little 3-piece for him. Izako Boars, of course, going into their gun round for the next. That will see them being able to rebuy the AWP in the hands of Neeks as well. Once again, forZe going to be running that double AWP setup. Not yet ran into any sort of issue with it, but have definitely been inhibited partially by the double AWP. Even so, Jerry to play aggro toward Banana this time. Izako Boars not wanting to over-aggress themselves. Two still toward top of ramp, and Matty to aggress inside of apartments. ZE Power, though, nice adjustment. That'll be a first kill going to forZe. Probably should have been dead there. Only dropped down to just under half HP, and a great reaction shot to close the first man. And especially with Izako Boars wanting to now dedicate toward the B bomb site with Pathetech, making at least some information known. The AWP trying to draw out the attention to find the kill, or at least a trade back. Was there playing close, wanting to be as sort of stable as ever, and even with that flashbang to go through, keeps him away or at bay for now. But with a minute on the clock, Izako Boars setting up toward the A bomb site. That will, toward the B bomb site, top Banana. Oh, Techcheck even catching out one toward A, making a trade in return. Does come out alive as well. 50 seconds on the clock, and that will leave the B bomb site, or at least both sites, with a 2-for-2 setup. Techcheck still on that lurk position. ZE Power going to back off now and head to support the Archers, at least rotate through CT. But as time ticks, it seems like Izako Boars, they might just be dedicating back towards A this time.
Yeah, but it looks of it, that's the case. Although ZE Power, he's the one man that can put an end to this. If he gets the first entry, falls back, then he's done his duty well. That's it. That's all he needs to do now. He has to stay alive, and he might be caught. Close call there. The bomb actually, or more so Navrat, almost catching him off. But face crack peeking from Graveyard. It's a double spray down, and that's more than enough given to forZe. More than enough of an advantage to forZe that they should easily be able to close it out. And ZE Power, he just confirms what we already knew. And it's going to be, of course, 7-4 and a very successful first half return coming out from forZe. Now, I should mention once more that 4 rounds is already a good start coming out from Izako Boars. But again, forZe, this is 7-0 right now for them. They are 7-0 riding the CT storm.
Yeah, especially considering, like you said, they've been able to keep it clean. It just makes their rounds a whole lot better. ZE Power even $12,000 stacked on him, so they can definitely sit back and relax for a little bit. Obviously, with an eco round from Izako Boars this time, nothing too much to be given. ZE Power, lovely first shot. Was there and flipped to clean up 2. And a pretty simple round to say the least. That'll be 8-4, and forZe, despite the very good start out of Izako Boars, we'll see them taking victory in the first half with minimum rounds required, even spotting the final 2 men. Neeks to find a kill, though. Not that he should be living too long with there, although a first missed shot in his favor. The P250 at least able to deal damage and finish him off there. So an 8-4 is that T side going back into their purchase. Will we see another AWP in the hands of Neeks, though? Will this T side finally realize that maybe they're being a little slowed down, a little inhibited by their own AWP? Might want to run a faster setup, maybe a B bomb site push this time. As they go for that purchase, we will see. Okay, yeah, the AWP back in the hands, so fair enough. Attack pause to be taken as well, I assume, from Izako Boars. But so far, yeah, there we go, just confirming that. But yeah, so far, a very good resurgence from forZe to keep the rounds clean.
Extremely well performed indeed. This is they've paid dividends twice over right now. 8-4, and they are successfully being able to, almost successfully able to deny Izako Boars any further success. And Matty 0-11. Ooh,
yikes!
That's kind of hurtful, isn't it? I mean, certainly we hoped for a bit of a better performance, and we spoke about how forZe's ZE Power was a vital player for them, and like how if he does not perform, then the rest of forZe is struggling to get themselves on the board, and seemingly it might be the same for Izako Boars here, and Matty might not be an instrumental player to them, but certainly is a player still, and when one of your guys is not performing, then you are in deep trouble. And right now, ooh, Almazer. That was a close call. Neeks almost dying, and face crack. Well, I guess there's the entry they wanted, and Matty 0-12.
Oh, Techcheck, that was through a smoke.
Oh lord, yeah.
Legged. I think he jumped like from stairs across and got caught in the crossfire. That's unfortunate. Like you said, Matty now 0-12, not going well for him. Fled even making sure that from this flower pot position they ensure that Short is not takeable, not securable by this T side. They do have the backup as well of FaZe Crack in this sort of position. He is pretty low, but can definitely suffice in this kind of angle. With Navrot down to a banana, does open a passageway of opportunity for this T side to be able to hit towards B. And with 45 seconds, probably a good amount of time to do so. They have that AWP to enable them to take closer angles or the first engagements. But with 35 on the clock, we will see Navrot beginning to throw that smoke down. almazr back at a B bomb site, wanting to remain safe. Does have Jerry in support as well. And here is the execution. 20 seconds on the clock. And Izako Boars, they're very reluctant to make a move through this smoke. They kind of have to with the time that's ticking. And as almazr guarantees a first, a beautiful jump up by Jerry. And they hold the site single-handedly, a 9-4. And that's beautiful from forZe.
It is. And that's pretty much the first half gone for the most part. Izako Boars, they will be reinvesting. They've got enough for, well, they've actually got enough for 5 AKs, but there's gonna have to be Nix without the head armor as well as Navrot, excuse me. It's starting to look pretty weak. I mean, 4-0, an excellent start. We believe that Izako Boars could be the ones that take the victory here in the first half. The way they all started it off, the way they all started to play it, but then with this kind of a return, forZe, they're looking amazing in their own right. Well, Power finally will be caught for the first time, I believe, on mid. There it is. Flit will be also caught, or more so tagged down to 3 HP. Will complicate matters as Izako Boars is wrapping around towards A itself. And Flit somehow with 3 HP still able to refrag. FaZe Crack gets one more, but it's almazr that gets caught by Navrot. Still a 2-on-2, and oh no, Jerry! He catches himself the kill that was most vital. Now a 1-on-1, and it's all eyes on Nix, but he's ready. Luckily enough, Izako Boars win that one, and more so Nix with the, 5 HP he had left?
Yeah.
A close call. Very close call.
Yeah, and luckily are able to come out with the kill at least to ensure that they get the round in their favor. And 9-5. forZe looking to now make it at least double figures to end that first half with. Izako Boars, if they do make it 9-6, gotta say it's actually a pretty decent end to the first half. It could have been way worse. Could have been an 11-4 with the way that forZe were keeping up the pace. A double AWP setup once again for the CT side. Plenty of grenades and defuse kits among them. FaZe Crack this time playing relatively close toward the apartments, and that will see Navrot tagged early. Not going to land anything there. Drive-by shot by Patatek. At least Flit to trade back, but not enough. Jerry to respond, but Neeks again finding 2. And that should be a 9-6. Izako Boars at least bagging some decent rounds to end the first half, and forZe are not allowed to get double figures just yet.
Well, this is a good turnaround, Izako Boars. I said it from the get-go. If they find 5, 6, 7 rounds, they are in good hands to move on to the second half. And almazr, I doubt he's going to be able to succeed double digits. As you said, denied. And forZe, well, what can you really do? I guess the answer is, well, hope that you win the pistol or something, because it is going to be 9-6 and the first half is gone. Izako Boars very successfully closing the deal, even though it looked quite horrific at times. 9-0, I think, is a result that any team will feel a little bit threatened by. And, well, it's not exactly 9 rounds completely in a row, but 8 rounds is more than enough, I guess you could say. And overall, forZe, I still have to admit that they've at least made the comeback possible, or more so, they've at least shown us that they're not going to let themselves go that easily.
Oh, look at Maddie as well.
Oh,
Still 0-13.
5 assists.
They've won 6 rounds and he's not got a kill.
Yeah.
That's a little unfortunate. But either way, we'll be back after a short commercial break by Loot.bet, and we'll join you very shortly for the start of the second half. So yeah, go and check Loot.bet out if you want to. But give us around 40 seconds and we'll be right back.
Counter-terrorists win.
LootBet. Made for live betting.
second pistol, and it's all eyes on Izako Boars. They've managed to pick themselves up 6 rounds, which is not a bad achievement at all, specifically since they're now going into this CT side. But can they close it out? More so, can they tie it up and potentially, give themselves a pat on the back with a tie coming up? We'll find out pretty soon, as we do have the pistol going in full swing right now. A bit of banana control being exerted by forZe, but not yet a commitment fully through and through. And oh, this pop flash Navrot had, or actually, he's got a nade, not a pop flash. Face crack finds one. The nade will be lost, and he's gonna drop it a little bit too late. Almazir finds himself one more, as Patitek will fall. Now Navrot and Tetsik, they hold B at least. That's the saving grace of it all. Navrot though, you don't want to die here, buddy. You have a single man on A, and if he dies, that's the end of the round, effectively. Certainly, they are aware of that, and I mean, they have to be. Flit. There's the pop flash. Here we go. forZe. It's an A commitment.
And with Neeks on the back of the site, Flit to take him down. Techek, at least able to trade back one. Aggressing onto the site. Ooh, and does catch out Flit. Okay, this gets now a little risky. Into a 2 versus 2, but the HP of Izako Boars lacking here. Not that it matters though. Navrot trading back the first bullets run out. Has to go for the reload, and there's Techek.
Oh my god.
Izako Boars, they win themselves the pistol round. I hope he finds the bomb in the next like 15 seconds or so. Okay, there we go. I was gonna say he has to find the bomb, or else that's gonna be an unfortunate way to lose the round. But luckily, able to find the defuse. That'll be a 9-7. And Izako Boars taking the pistol round yet again. That's 2 for 2 so far. And that can put themselves in a great position to get back at least with a 9-8 or a 9-9. Because forZe, they're a team that does go for force buys in these sorts of rounds. So if they do that again and lose it, that's going to be a 9-9. But if they go for any... Okay, there we go. There's the force to come through. A couple of rifles to be picked up. If Izako Boars win this round, that is most likely going to be a 9-9.
Well, that's a successful first half. Successful start of the second half is what I was going at. And I guess in the end, it certainly is possible, right? Izako Boars, I mean, they should be able to win this. This is a force buy with 2 AKs, but I mean, Izako Boars, the way they won that last round, it would show to tell that the performance of some of their players is just too good to allow rounds like this to be lost. Although, we've seen crazier stuff before, and I certainly wouldn't want to count out forZe just yet. Almazir and Jerry, a round that perhaps could turn everything on its head. And this is a good crossfire setup. That's a close range, gets only the 1 kill. It's a good pop flash as Nex is out for good with a single kill of his own. Patitek will push into house though. Will be able to shut down Flit's flank, or at least Flit's attempt of doing extra damage towards A. And Matty, he hears the reload. First kill for Matty. Thank you, Matty. 0 and 12, almost a 1 and 12 right now, but it's a 1 on 2, excuse me. As Jerry's able to catch onto Patitek. Oh, he faked out as he was running towards site. He wanted to make sure that Izako Boars might think this is the case. And Matty, though, he's smarter than that. He realizes what's up, and will check the corner well enough. 9-8, and forZe, a tie, should be on the board.
Yeah, definitely so, especially with the fact that Izako Boars now full eke around to come from forZe, or at least a semi-investment. Not a lot to be gained or invested from that T side. And yeah, like you said, with Izako Boars being able to make this a 9-9 going into that tie, this really allows the CT side to really get comfortable, start to generate a lot of rounds and a lot of momentum if they can win the first gun round as well. But obviously, CT side losing men, having to rebuy. We see Patitek, Matty, Neeks, Techek, all down to a pretty low economy. The only man with any sort of cash will be Navrot. But luckily they have a chance to build that back up now against Izako with a lot of MP9s. They can get the $600 money bonus. Patitek to challenge the face crack. Pretty simple takedown. That should be how the rest of the round goes realistically as well. And this will be Izako Boars tying us up, making it as close as possible here in the second half. And with this being the forZe map pick as well, you would have expected them to be taking more of a valiant lead, but this is actually really good from Izako Boars. Like we said, coming into this, they're one of the most surprising teams in this tournament to be getting games like these, even taking maps off a size that they probably shouldn't be. And this is looking really good for them so far as they tie it up. Full gun round to come from forZe, but losing this would really start to spell a little bit of danger so far for that T side. But with the AWP, a single AWP in the hands of Zapower, the 5 rifles, decent utility. does look like a pretty good round for them, especially considering the fact that Navrot, that Patek and Tedchek haven't upgraded their MP9s either, but they do have a lot of utility. And of course, are backed up by the rifles. Matty, aggressive and at least finds a kill, but not before Flit burns him alive and does at least trade it back.
And Tedchek will come out with another kill there as he's able to peek out, catch Flit, and get away scot-free. That's an excellent work, or more so excellent work being done by Izako Boars as a whole. Nyx will be able to catch himself one more beforehand. And it is going to be forZe that's going to be kind of tied down right now. And their first half seemingly being completely wasted away as their T-side success is trumped by the successful in there, or more so by the successful peaks and aggression by Izako Boars. I gotta say, the MP9s, they're playing perfectly into the hands of IB. They get the entries, they die, doesn't matter. They got the entries, they got the damage dealt, or more so the damage done. And forZe, how do you win this? More so, how do you play this one off? There is an up on Zepar though, and we can never discount this guy. We've seen such a crazy amount of series and more so plays from him already. It's a long way before we can call it the end, although Tedchek boosted on second box. Yeah, there's a free kill. And it's all eyes on Almazer. A 1-on-4, 30 seconds. There is time for him to win this, but there's not much left. And he's going to have to make a run pretty soon to try and pick it up. Navrot, oh, if he... Yeah, that's what I thought. If he did that, he gets a free kill. But no smoke, no chance.
And 10-9, that's Izako Boars guaranteeing the first side to make double figures. They take the lead yet again in this first map, and with that T side not particularly having too much of a bank balance to support them in a full investment, there is a world where we see a purchase out of these guys, though. They have Almazer, FaZe Crack, Flit that can all buy AKs and Kevlar. Zaypower and Jerry the same. It will be a little limited for them, but they can definitely buy it, although it seems like an investment that they do not want to make. So most likely going to be giving a 11-9 scoreline to Izako Boars, and that will be allowing the CTs to start building that barrier, to start shutting down forZe on their own map pick. And if they can take away Inferno, we see a little bit of trouble going on to Nuke for forZe, for the fact that they've already proven on the Izako Boars side how they can win that map, and it's going to be a little risky for forZe to be able to play. Yes, it's a map they can handle themselves, but Izako Boars have been surprising to say the least in this sort of this Swiss system. So yeah, it's going to be exciting to see how this map fares off. But obviously with pistols being purchased for forZe, it looks like it will be another round for Izako Boars, and to be able to take the lead with a double, or at least a couple of rounds in advance, is really going to give the CT side a lot of confidence.
I mean, they've already got... I think they've already garnered enough confidence as is. It's more so the fact that, you know, Izako Boars, they realize what kind of position they're in. And that would be the fact that if they win this round, they know they will propel themselves onto the best point in this current map, as well as the fact that forZe, even though they have a full buy next, their money's not going to be that good. They're not going to be having an established bank to fall onto. And that's where Izako Boars come in, you know, with their destructive capabilities. Double up, Navrot, Nyx. And it's just... This is looking like a very shaky second half of forZe already. And Nyx is going to be able to shut down Almazer. And forZe, before they get even into house to take control of it, they already lost a man. And it's just all starting to fall apart left and right. They have no response to this. They have nobody close range to try and, you know, deal some sort of a return, some sort of a punishment for that kind of aggression, which should be punished. But yeah, I mean, it's starting to really look like it might just go in the way of Izako Boars. Of course, the gun round will prove if that's the case or not, but so far, most of the rounds have gone heavily in favor of Izako Boars.
Yeah, I've got to agree. They've been currently dominating a lot of the pace, and Flit obviously will be able to trade back, make it too. Nice little double going in his favor, able to get the bomb down as well. Luckily, Batatech can take the rifle out of his hands. FaZe Crack chasing down Navrot, not able to find too much off of the back of it, but even so is Jerry to be dropped down to 58. This T-side playing some very passive plant positions. Navrot holding, making sure that FaZe Crack cannot go for that peak. Final man in a 1 versus 3. Jerry to get shut down. 11-9. And like you said, that eco round was most likely going to go in the favor of Izako Boars. It comes down to this round, though. If Izako Boars take this one, if they go up to 12-9 and again exploit the economy of forZe, so that's where we can really start to see the Polish side take a lot of advances But of course, a very full investment from forZe. The AWP in the hands of ZE Power, the AK-47's a lot of utility. Probably one of the fullest rounds that forZe will have or have had in a while. AWP set up on the CT side. Beautiful first kill by Jerry, though. That's what they needed to be able to grab an insight into the round. They'll take the first kill, make it a 5v4 in literally 15 seconds. And that's going to be the best start for forZe.
Yeah, and that's pretty much an excellent beginning for the gun round. As I said, it will be proven whether or not Izako Boars will be giving them, also will be taking this first map rather quickly, or will it be forZe finally putting up a fight? And by the looks of it, as we see the entry and everything else in between coming to haunt Izako Boars a little bit. Although I love this boost. Tetchek on flower pots. It's gonna be hard to break this unless they can pre-fire it, or unless they pre-fire it immediately. And I would like to see some sort of an execution, of course, towards B by forZe that we should be seeing in any case. Two smokes are being readied up to be thrown. Now here comes the play. A Molotov into first box. And all in all, forZe, they're executing fully into this. Navra, he's got all the information they need, though, as Izako Boars have already rotated their third player across. But T-Tech double. Oh my god, the nade as well to add on top of that. And this is just horrible starting to look. I mean, this is horribly wrong for forZe. It's all going down the drain, really. Tetchek with a double and Matty to finish the job. Oh my god, Izako Boars 12 and 9. And they win a round where forZe had an entry, where forZe had an execute towards site that shouldn't be effectively won that easily, at least. And this is starting to look very weak. forZe, even with an entry, it's not enough in the end. And then we have to ask ourselves, what is enough? When will it be enough? Or more so, what do they have to do in order to finally achieve some sort of victory?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, is if they can't take a victory in a round where they have such a solid advantage, it's going to make their life so difficult in these sorts of positions. And with Izako Boars now making a 12-9, putting 3 ahead of them as they really start to now grow on this CT side exponentially. 3 rifles and a MAC-10 and a CZ is all that they have to work with in this position, and Neeks, he's prepared for it. Can't find the shot, though. And that will at least see face crack to take down Pathetek. A beautiful first frag to find, although he will fall back and stay pretty passive. Nice flashbang, though. That's perfect. Flit as he takes down Neeks. Matthew back to the bomb site. Denial can't find any more, though. Trades back and forward, relatively even, but still a man advantage. Not anymore. As Tetchek to close down one more. Burning in the molly. 55 seconds on the clock as that bomb is looking to be planted. Navrot and Tetchek, 2 versus 2. And as that T side set themselves up with some pretty decent after plant positions, this is going to make the retake of Izako Boars very difficult. Almazer, beautiful tap through the smoke onto the head of Tetchek. And with Navrot 1 versus 2, he might just go and save his rifle, take it over. They do have money to buy next round, but it should be forZe most likely putting themselves up to a double-figure scoreline, a 12-10. But Izako Boars, they have plenty of money to be able to rebuy.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they will not be too worried about this. And Navrot, he's going to try and do as much damage as possible. Mazer, he's going to survive, but that is a very pricey round for forZe to win. And this is where the danger lies for the T side. They get a victory, sure, and they do get, you know, they at least get double digits as they wanted to already in the first half. And they were pretty close to it, we have to admit. But it's Izako Boars that will be contending for further rounds coming up. And, well, the op on Neeks, again, 2 AUGs, an AK and an M4, full utility on the rest. And Izako Boars are well equipped to deal with any sort of early engagement. I would like to see some banana control, though, being established by Izako Boars. And just as I say it, here's the deep smoke, here's the Molotov. And they will be playing exactly for that kind of setup. And, well, Matty, he reveals his position. Face crack will burn a little bit. He's still alive somehow. Jerry finds one. Oh, okay. Oh, Matty, goodbye. Good night, sweet prince. You're certainly not ready for that kind of fight. And it leaves Izako Boars with 2 men hanging. And this is where, realistically, forZe should be winning. I mean, if they don't win with this, then I don't know if they can win at all, honestly. At the end of all, like, if then they lose 1, but they get the refrag immediately, and Matty, though, holding the line. He's got an AWP. He can certainly lock this one out. Oh, he's dead. Oh, he gets 1 more. Jesus. Zapar and Face Crack, though, they'll be finishing the job. And yeah, 11-12, Izako Boars are going to be broken. And it's going to have to be an eco, or at least should be an eco. As they do have a lot of money saved up. They could potentially buy here with AKs, actually with M4s, maybe, you know, an AWP glass cannon, something of the like. But I would prefer to see an eco. Just go easy about it. You know, don't let yourself be broken too much.
Yeah, and at this point, it's looking like a pretty good comeback, or at least resurgence, out of forZe to the fact that they're now going to be just a single round away from tying the scoreline, and that's going to be a round where we do see very little to be brought out by the Izako Boars side. So up to now, it looks like forZe might have been able to at least crack the code or crack the case just a little bit to find enough in the bank, or at least in the arsenal, to be able to take it this close. Obviously, Izako Boars should invest into a little bit, but don't want to be overexerting themselves. 6 rounds in a row won by that CT side to the position they are at now, but 2 returned by forZe themselves. And obviously, if they can go into this one, take a clean victory, make sure their economy is going to stay at a stable level, because right now you can see Alma's there back down to 0. The rest of the side is a little okay, but still you want to be keeping as weighty, or at least as stable as possible, especially on a T side. So with Patatech, Navrot, Neexol, and Kevlar, a little bit of utility in return. There is definitely a challenge that can come from Izako Boars right now. A mid-rush seems like the motive here. That shot looked very close. Probably should have landed as well. Techek, though, will find the first kill, and it's rounds like these that can really cause an issue for forZe. So luckily, Zapower to trade one and Flip playing as safe as possible. And Nate even flying into his position, but still, they realize they've gone down to a banana, and they should be able to manage the situation here.
Yeah, I mean, they do have the capabilities of winning this round, or at least should be having them. With Matty being alone on an A site, he doesn't really have a chance to hold on to this himself, and we should be seeing a save of the AK if Izako Boars do not get a kill or 2 beforehand. Although, oh, this timing could be perfect. Techek, if he baits the shot, he does it. Might not be aware of it, but Patatech gets a free kill. And this is where the danger really lies in all of this. Although Patatech will be lost, Matty is still in small pit. And, oh, Matty, I actually wonder why would you peek there? Just try and stay hidden. You know, you only have a USP, so you're only gonna pretty much get a single chance at this. And if you widen up the way he did, as soon as he realized nobody's peeking on him or peeking at him, perhaps it would have been smarter to just try and stay alive, you know, try and buy time. And once your teammates are close enough, you can distract them, you can cause a little bit of chaos, and maybe, you know, buy a change. Maybe buy a change, or excuse me, buy a change. Maybe buy some sort of a chance to bring this round back to the fold. But it's gonna be 12-12, and forZe seemingly waking up, as they have certainly started to perform a lot better than initially imagined, or more so initially expected after the ending of the first half.
Yeah, and they're looking pretty good so far. Able to ensure that they're going to, like you say, be able to tie the scoreline up, making their life just a little bit easier. They do have to be careful now that Izako Boars are back onto their full bite, but forZe definitely proven that there is still some strength left in this side up to now. They do have to be careful, of course, of Izako Boars coming back, making the round in their favor. But obviously with forZe being able to limit that in previous rounds, they can definitely look to do the same again. Although Techek, as he provides the early frag, some beautiful damage done to both Zapower and Alma's there. This makes life very difficult now, as Neek's able to shut down Face Crack. That's 2 players dead, and this is not going to work out too well for forZe. That'll leave them in a 5 versus 3 when they need to be able to keep all players alive. This is one of the rounds that they almost had to win. And already with 2 men down, with no damage, or at least no trades made, Techek only tagged down to 73. It's very weak damage to begin with. We might even just see a save out of forZe, and they can buy into the next round and go from there.
Well, what a turnaround it is. And yeah, save is on the table. Although I would say Almazer should go for at least a kill or 2, try and do some damage, trying to do some damage, trying to diminish the economy of Izako Boars. But well, Nyx, he's got ulterior motives, or more so in that case Zapar, and well, losing the op is a pretty big blow. 26 seconds, and this is surely going to be a save in the end of all things. But Izako Boars succeeding on the tie round, and more so on the round that would have decided pretty much everything here, because if it were to be forZe to win, Izako Boars would have been broken. It would have been 14-12, and that could have been, again, an ending to this first map, where forZe, coming out from the depths of all, could have closed it out with a victory. But luckily, it's Izako Boars saving face, 13-12, and they have another chance to, I guess you could say, to actually win this map still. But forZe, match pause most likely, and they will obviously reinvest into this. But, man, weird rounds. I have to say, kind of weird rounds as a whole.
Yeah, definitely. More of a back and forward game than most. And with Izako Boars being able to keep in the same level, forZe, if they can't come back from this sort of position, we'll see that CT side most likely going up to 15 rounds before forZe are able to rebuy, and that's a scary prospect, considering that this is the map that forZe did go for the pick on, and we know that Nuke is going to be selected by Izako Boars. It's a map that whilst forZe can play, it's still going to be risky with the fact that these guys have not particularly brought us too much in the first map itself. Yes, they're on 12 rounds and been keeping it competitive, but there's been a lot of mistakes from both sides, realistically.
Yeah.
So at this point, with Izako Boars able to rebuy, we'll see the AWP most likely to be dropped to Say power in return. There we go. Flip maybe to be given an AK, but I don't think there's enough money for him to even get a rifle. Face crack to purchase himself, of course. And yeah, this is going to be a pretty risky round for forZe. They've had to put everything on the table, spend all of their bank, make sure they have at least the full investment, or at least as full as possible. And if they get nothing out of it, that's going to be a real big blow to this T side, to the point where map point is probably attainable by the CTs.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the realism of this position that forZe are in. And the one thing they have to accept is, with this investment, they have to win, or it's the end for them, and more so for this map most likely. Izako Boars, once they reach 15, you know, I definitely see them being able to close it out. Although, again, forZe are pretty close. They're running, or more so they're breathing down the neck of Izako Boars, and with 12 rounds already here, you know, it isn't inconceivable that we could be seeing overtime potentially if it does come down to it. But alas, it will be a continuation of the match. The pause is gone, and we are going to be seeing forZe fully investing into this. The op on Zay Power, on Sexy Power, I guess you could say. Somebody in chat has said that his name is actually Sexy Power. And I was...
It's definitely not, but sure.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
We'll take it. I mean, I was like, maybe, you know, Zay Power, why not? I could see that. It's certainly, he is a bit of a sexy man, Bogdan. But the point is, Izako Boars, this is also a chance, or more so, this is also a troublesome moment for them. They lose this, and they're going to be broken once more themselves, not really looking too good with their own money. I mean, they've got a bit of a bank saved up, but... Well, Nyx pushing, or more so, just checking apps, gets a free kill. And forZe, where's the response? What are they gonna do here?
Yeah, not a lot they really can do. They've not been able to find a frag in return. No swift trade to be made, and that's now going to really inhibit this T side. They've not been able to bounce back so far, and even with a 5 versus 4, a minute left on the clock, plenty of time for them to be able to work with. But Patatech hold into a pit where the majority of this forZe side want to aggress. Jerry to pull back from Banana. It seems like it is going to be a full A-bomb site dedication out of this T side. And with 45 seconds and a third man now on his way over to support the site, this is where it gets a little painful, a little difficult potentially. With so much defense being made by Izako Boars, it's going to take a lot for forZe to break this right now. And in a 5 versus 4, this is where they can start to hit Jerry. He'll find himself the first. That makes light work of Patatech. And to come through towards short. Oh, Matty.
Oh, so
trying
smart.
to play safe. This is
oh,
very
what?
smart.
Oh! No way. You gotta be joking me.
Oh, nade.
Kobe, Jerry will fall.
Oh my god.
Oh no, things are about to go very wrong for Face Crack, or more so for forZe. There's not enough time to plant. They can't plant this, but TT will be lost. But they can't plant. The molly on the bomb, yeah, the timing, the position, the everything, the execution. Izako Boars, they secured themselves a victory where victory was very much unlikely, and Matty in pit. And Techek and everybody in between, they saved the game here for Izako Boars. It is going to be, of course, 14-12 and an eco for forZe, as they have no money left in the bank. They realize what position they're in, and more so what kind of a mess they're in. And this is just crazy talk right now. Izako Boars, this is easy 15. It should be.
Has to be, yeah, with the way that forZe have semi-bought, half-bought, low-buyed into this round. It's going to be a very tough scenario for them to be able to take. And like you said, this should definitely be match point. Or sorry, map point coming up for Izako Boars. And with face crack inside of Boiler, looks like it will be a quick A site hit from this T side as soon as that smoke begins to fade. But with Techek holding, Jerry at least a dip to a banana. The B site might be a more operative call for forZe right now. They'll pull off with just leaving face crack to linger inside of the apartments. And Navrot, he is close to the site, of course. 2 men in defense. This now starts to rush, able to keep himself safe for now. Even time to deploy the flashbang, and that bomb has been lost. Making sure that that T side already going to be greatly inhibited. And even though face crack able to trade in return, Patatek to fall, that bomb has to be squandered. Matty on the site now.
Oh,
Here's
Matty.
That save power.
And Molotov
no
again.
idea, a double from him. Able to deploy yet another molly, and a 3 versus 2 as that plant not available just yet. Jerry will fall, and that's a 15th round for Izako Boars.
Easy 15. It's not even a question whether or not it's going to come. It's there already. And the only thing that's, well, preventing it is the fact that Flit is still kind of trying to delay this. But it's inevitable, unfortunately. And, well, Izako Boars, they came a pretty long way, given how the first half ended 9-6 and how almost defeated they looked in a certain way. This is definitely an improvement, and this is definitely where we could safely say that, you know, forZe, it's their last stand. 3 rounds in a row is what they need, and 3 rounds in a row is what they can get, especially with a buy like this. Zapar has his AWP, and of course the rest of his teammates do have AKs and everything in between, but the utility is lacking. And again, I have to reiterate, forZe in the past, even with 2 entries, they were unsuccessful in winning a round. So, at this point, what is going to be enough for them to be able to close it out? How are they going to be able to close it out? Navrot and Techek, they're going to be protecting B site. And this is a bit of a dangerous setup for Izako Boars. Specifically since Techek is in a position where it can be pre-fired, and also where he can be pre-fired and immediately taken down. But alas, well, a minute left, and it's a B hit. forZe, they'll be committing with everything.
Yeah, and with Techek at this point, spotting the first man, not able to strike though. That's unfortunate, Jerry. He'll catch off a first. Techek to spray down, but it seems like they finally have been able to break into that B bomb site. Putting the plant down, making sure that Izako Boars, they're going to go for the save at this point, not wanting to commit. And fair enough, they have the 3 rifles, or the 3 weapons at least, to be able to carry into the next round. That will at least make sure that right now it is going to be forZe getting themselves another round on that T side, 15-13. And with the money not that safe right now for Izako Boars, it's going to be a risky play for them in the next round. They essentially have to make sure that they win this next round, or most likely if they invest off of the back of it, that's going to be a 14th given. Through that CT side, and overtime, like you mentioned, is definitely a possibility in this position.
Absolutely. I mean, it should be on the board if forZe win this one round, where the money for Izako Boars has been depleted, to reinvest, to rebuy, to put everything on the line. This is it. This will be the final call to victory, the final call to potential win here for either Izako Boars or for overtime for forZe. In either case, there will be an MP9 on Navrot and up on Nix, and actually 2 MP9s on Techek and Navrot both, which is kind of concerning. And I do like that Izako Boars put 3 players towards B, but ooh, that's sick. So aggressive towards Banana. And so far, I don't think we've seen this yet, or at least he hasn't been playing for this kind of position. So this is a nice decision, actually. It could be what draws everything back in favor of Izako Boars. If he plays this position correctly and well enough, this could be it.
especially with the fact that that smoke goes down again, at least to protect his position, does now show that Techek, whilst he's going to be sort of pulling back, I'd love him to sit at that close position, just stay there and hope for a couple of kills to go in your favor. Might be boosting up onto the wall, though, and I think that's what they have done, so they'll at least put him at a height advantage. Oh, but even so, Matty is able to confirm the kill, not before Zay Power to return a frag in his favor, but in a 4 versus 4 as they head down toward the A site. 40 seconds on the clock, Neeks to be holding. This could be perfect with the way that he's set up toward Banana. A first kill and he should be backing away, and that's exactly what he'll get. Keeping himself safe, and that's down to a 4v3 even. Drops the smoke in return. They'll have to regress through it now, and he's up toward New Box. This makes life so hard, and as he tags down a first, damage to be done, Techek to assist. And that might just be where they've come and won themselves the game. Jerry to return with 1, make it 2, and with time ticking, Navron has to be careful. 10 seconds on the clock, but as they aggress, there it is. Izako Boars, they take victory in a 16-13 that was honestly probably one of the most back and forward games that's not gone to overtime.
Absolutely. Too close for comfort. There is no other way to put it but that. And of course, congratulations to Izako Boars. They win map 1, albeit by a close call. They win it. That's the important part. And on top of that, we will be going into a short commercial break, gentlemen. Of course, this tournament being sponsored by loot.bet. Make sure to check it out. And as I said, we'll be continuing with our second map in a matter of, I guess, 10 minutes or so. So do not go anywhere, and we shall return pretty soon.
Counter-terrorists win.
LootBet. Made for live betting.